We are back on Chris Slix's McLaren in the temporary home of the valve seat machine because I don't want it to live here. So let's get through it and we will catch you up on where we are with everything with Chris's car. Davey, you're bonging today.
I'm binging and bonging.
You're binging and bonging.
I need to turn the bingy bongy off.
You can't beat a good bong or bing. Anyway, if I put you in front of the light, so the last two videos of this was stripping the engine down completely. This video is we're going to pull the head apart, talk you through what we found, what the next steps are with this, and then show you through what has turned up already for Chris's car, ready for a rebuild. This is why we're changing the rockers. I don't know whether you can see it. Is that coming up on camera?
Looks a bit scuffy.
Yeah, and it feels rough as a badger's arsehole. Now, the first point...
Feeling badger's arsehole?
Exactly that, Turkish Matt.
So, salad boss?
So yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of random names this week because we've been called everything, haven't we? In one video, a comment said I look like a young Tom Hardy, and another comment said I look like Gollum. I don't know whether their monitor was broke or what, because I am a spitting image of Tom Hardy. Eh? Ginger Nat would say I am. She loves me. She loves Tom Hardy as well. Right. So that's why we're changing them. So they're the rockers. So if you look here, you have got, shall I move out of the way of the light?
That would help, all right? If I move the light.
We move the light.
Just watch you don't.
Normal people have a torch, Dav.
Yeah.
You carry around like a light on a stick.
We won't say who else uses lights like this because we'll get in trouble.
Why?
Continue.
Continue. So you've obviously got the valves sat in a head, and the shims are direct action shims, so they're not buckets. So like the Murcielago engine we did, they're big they're big buckets that sit on the top in a machined tube, and you put a disc, so you put a shim on the top, and you basically create how big the bucket is. Motorbike engines, the buckets, they are sometimes like this, but the buckets themselves are the shim, so it's built into it. But these, it's got a top, it's called what's called a top hat shim. So it drops in and over the top, like so. And then the pad on the rocker runs on the shim, and then the cam runs on the top of the rocker. So you've got two wearable faces. We never see wear here. They're normally pretty mint on the bottom. It's always up on the top we see it. And we do change cams and rockers quite a bit. I mean here, I don't know if you can see, Dab, we've got a bit of corrosion, but that is a hole.
Oh dear.
And it just eats everything away. We also see quite a lot of side loading in them, and the pin machines its own groove into the center and you get a lot of play. We're just going to change them because the cams are foobarred. That's a good way of putting it.
I like that.
Yeah. Do we know what it means?
It means effed up beyond all recognition.
Yeah, it does.
And that was off.
Saving Private Ryan.
Foobar.
So they sit on little dowels in the head, and then you've got these oil galleries as well. So the oil gallery comes up and in, and it just feeds the pivot points. But they
look expensive.
They are about £280 each. And remember, there's 8 cylinders, so guess how many times you need them, brother?
Yes. Plus the VAT.
Prick. Yeah, so we changed these. We changed the cams as well. Guess how many cams we need? Oh, Matt's not playing now. He doesn't want to play guessing game. How many camshafts do we need?
How many cams you want in it? Shoot as many as you want.
Honestly,
Technically 4, but if you want 8,
I hate working here.
8 we'll put 4 in the boot.
I hate working here. This is my punishment for gazumping you on Garmin, isn't it?
Yes. It's all right because you bought it and I'm just going to use
it. Yeah.
So actually, I'm the winner.
So what's the story here? Was it?
So there's a lad selling a Garmin. The first time it sold and then it came back up for sale. Then the second time, I put a bid up to 700 quid. And then for some reason it went up to 720.
No.
No, I got scared. I was up to 7. I was like,
You
I'll do
bid 700.
And I was like, that's me done. I'm out at that point. And then, yeah, Rip won it for 720. So. But it's all right because.
But it went over 700.
Yeah, and then.
Right.
Yeah.
You're stitching me up.
Yeah. I've already stitched you up.
You already said, yeah. So we just have to give them a little bit of a knock to get them moving up, because there's pulling them off the dowels is a bastard.
It's not the easiest thing to show from here, so.
You're just trying to move them off the dowel. Some of them are really easy, some of them are a pain in the ass. So we're putting all new valve train in. So we'll keep the retainers and the locks, but we're going to change the springs, the valves, and the valve seats.
Okay.
Now, because we're doing that, you would naturally cut the seats anyway, but I want to put our Gucci seat profile on it. So we completely change the profile on the seat, and I'll show you what I mean when I pull some out and get it stripped. What do I want? Like so. Why did that jump, Dav?
I don't know. It was good fun carrying this earlier.
It's heavy, isn't it?
Heavier than it looks.
It's heavy, friend. Right. I'm going to try that over there because that jumped a minute ago and I didn't know why. There we go, it's better.
So again, this is stuff you could do without this fancy machine.
Yeah,
but
just it's nice to have a fancy machine, Dav.
Yep.
Know what I'm saying? So there's a pad underneath that pushes on the underside, that holds the underside of the valve.
Oh, let's see if we can see the pad.
You see it? This little shaft here, it sits on the underside of the valve.
Hang on.
Coming this way, go that way.
I'm not sure. Is that going to show from there? Can you see on there?
Yeah. So that little pad, this little pad here, sits on the underside of the valve.
Yep.
And then that's then part of the air controller that lifts it up, so that when I push my foot on the pedal, it can push the other side of that bit, if that makes sense.
Nice. So if I film from this side, then.
I did some cameraing, Dav.
You did. I'm redundant once again.
I know. I'm going to go and get my safety glasses because it always scares me. And if you look down in there now, you can see how I have broken it, as in broken the grip.
Yep.
As easy as that, Mush.
Released.
Yeah. So we've got the retainer, the spring, and the two locks. Yeah. And we just do this over and over again. Like so. Am I standing in the way of the light now, mate?
No, I'm getting a very pleasing side
boob angle. Can be a bit side boob.
Spoob.
I mean side angle. Spoob? Is that what we call it?
Spoob.
Spoob.
Side boob.
Oh, that's spicy. So a good thing about McLarens as well is, as standard, they're single groove, and we've spoken about this before about single and triple groove. Triple groove is a sort of more OEM longevity thing.
Yeah.
And you more commonly see single groove on things like the SuperTech kits we use on, say, the V10s. Because all our V10 stuff and our Daza stuff is SuperTech.
Let me just move around.
So straight away like that, look, Dav. I can pull out springs.
Yes.
Now, if you notice, they're like a conical shape, so they're not parallel. See, they tip in at the top.
Yeah.
So you'll get certain types of springs, like what are called beehive. A parallel spring, there's nowhere to hide the coil. So when you compress a parallel spring, they stack and stack and stack until you get something called coil bind. And that's a measurement we look at with springs. When you use a conical or beehive spring, so that's the seats, look. Not horrific, but can you see it's dirty, sort of a more shiny section?
Yep.
And then it's dirty again. So the shiny section is the part of the seat that's making contact, or part of the valve that's making contact with the seat. But you can also see where it's not a crisp edge, it blurs. I don't know how well you can see it, mate.
Yep, it's looking good.
And the burring is where it's not making crisp, clean contact with the seat in the head. So I mean, that's two valves out of the same exhaust chamber. So you want to see nice sort of even colours off both. And what you're doing now is you're looking for, in theory, there's strength in numbers, right? So everything should look similar. You know, if you've got one valve or one thing that's standing out more than another. Like, can you see all this sort of build up on the edge there?
Yeah.
This sort of crusty, nasty crap. I think it's because of coming from bike engines. Valve springs. I am a bit of a bugger for regularly changing valve springs. And if we're doing V10s, we do them as part of the service life on, say, a GT3 and stuff like that, even though it's not inside the service regime. Sure. For GT3 engines. Simply because we see a lot of broken springs on the road stuff. And, mate, valve springs kill engines. My Hurricane, we were lucky we got away with that, but yeah, that's exactly why, do you know what I mean? And for the sake of 10 quid, which is what they are, I would much rather put springs in, put a new set of springs in. The difficulty is when you get into things, certainly like my R6, they're £2 a set. They're like £100 a spring because they're titanium.
Gets a bit expensive.
Yeah. Sorry, titanium valves. Sorry, they're like £100, and then they're like £1,000 a set of springs. Sorry. Right. So valve trains, when you start getting into proper supersport engines, get expensive. So again, we just go through the same process. So sometimes we get this stiction where I can't put enough foot. The keepers are sort of wedged in the retainer. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much pedal I put on it. Like you can see the machine moving, and it's not. So we just give it a little knock, a little bit of pressure and a knock. Well, see, it's not even having it there. Look, and then it kind of jumps, and you get that mechanical lock. But what I don't want to do is keep winding it up and winding it up and winding it up on the tool, and then all of a sudden it just go pooching, because that's how stuff breaks. It's just better sometimes to just give it a little bit of a ding.
Bit of gentle persuasion.
So this again, something else that even if we weren't necessarily changing any of the valve train, it's something on an engine rebuild that you need to be doing. So a bottom end builds strength.
Yep.
And a top end makes power. What you do with the valve seats, what you do with the valve train, the cams.
That's a t-shirt slogan right there.
What? But top ends build power.
Yes. Bottom ends build strength, top ends build power.
Yeah, so you obviously build your bottom end to take the torque. There are obviously caveats to that. At the end of the day, you want to reduce your frictional losses and stuff, but I need to turn that way slightly.
We're going to put it in a nutshell, that would sum it up.
Yeah, yeah.
As a generalisation. It's like surgery, this.
It's good fun. Right, let's get this out of the way. So, again, same springs both sides, so they're not different springs side to side. What is different is what's called the installed height. So that's how much the spring is compressed at rest. And I'm in the way. So we call that the installed height. And in a perfect world, you don't necessarily, right, this is where you don't necessarily want the same installed, you want the same installed height and the same seat pressure. Yeah? So
okay.
In a perfect world, what you want is both of them exactly the same. I will give away installed height to match seat pressure. So the spring is sat at the same pressure at rest, because that's essentially what we call preload on suspension, providing our smallest, the linearization of each spring then at rest is the same, and I don't risk coil bind. So the inlets look really clean. Now the reason they always sort of scrub up on a port engine is because the injection process or the fuel travels past the valve.
Rightio.
So your air and fuel mixture, there's your injection hole. So everything cleans, keeps the back of the valve nice and clean.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas a DI engine, we have the opposite. We never see fuel past the valve. So we get carbon buildup, and that's where we get sort of nastiness in our valves. Or on the back of our valves. Right, let's flip this over, Davla. So you can see all that's left now is my valve stem seals, and they've got built-in seats. So whereas like the V10, you put a washer on, then you put the seat over the top, the washer over the top. Sorry, you put a washer on, which is your spring seat. Then you put your valve stem seal over the top. These are one unit, so they look like fancy man top hats.
Nice.
Yeah. Like really posh men hats.
Posh man hat.
Posh man hat. So you can see here, if we pick a cylinder, I'll bring a light in. If we aim for them too, look. Yeah. So you can see, that's the edge of the head. And then can you see that sort of brown, I'll use my edge of my screwdriver. That's where the seat insert starts.
Yep.
So the seat is like you can get all sorts of different materials that are pressed in and then they're cut to shape. So you've got sort of like the initial diameter of the seat, then you've got your undercut, then you've got your seat face, then you've got your transition. So you've got three sort of angles. Now the three angles are important, and you can change these angles to affect the airflow into the cylinder, right? And there's a couple of things sat here now, looking at this inlet port, I see straight away there's a problem. So can you see the shiny bit, the throat?
Yep.
Can you see, it's clean though? Mm-hmm. Right, so think of like a cliff face with a waterfall off it, yeah? And the area where the water wouldn't touch, right? So as the water runs off a cliff and folds, before it touches back on a cliff face, you will essentially have an area that of the side of the cliff is dry. That's that.
Oh.
So what we've got here is the throat has a massive sort of undercut on it. Mm-hmm. So this is why you get that essentially this dry section. You've got no contact here because the air's travelling and essentially jets off the ridge and doesn't flow off the ridge. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so you can improve flow here by changing this area. So if I was porting these heads, that'd be the first thing I looked at. I would look at transitioning that into the seat so you get a nice flow. That feels sharp as a razor.
Right.
Yeah. So you're thinking about aerodynamics on the car, right? Stuff like that. You never see plane wings. They're not sharp edges. Everything's rounded, same idea. You don't want a sharp edge, right? If you're interested, go and look at Head Games Motorworks in America and listen to his. He's like probably one of the best. Christ, the stuff he's doing is mental. The cars. This is a science on its own. Just that hole there, that hole, the valve guide and the seat is a science all on its own. That is, you could be a specialist, an exceptional specialist just looking at that. Forget engine building, just that. And that's what Head Games Motorworks are. So we would, if I was porting the heads, I would change that, right? Cutting the seats then, how we transition from the throat into combustion chamber is another thing. And we do that with the angles on the seat. So again, we change that. And then we change the diameter of the seat, the width of the seat. So you can have a really, really narrow seat, or you can have a really, really wide seat. Oh, I get sneezed.
Bless you.
And there's there's pros and cons to both ways, depending on what you're trying to do. On a road engine, you'd normally run a wide seat because you want long service life, you want good heat transfer, you want it to work under a number of conditions. They're going to get dirty because cold start, how they're driven, that kind of thing. Whereas a race engine, you want that quite narrow. Not narrow enough that you start getting heat transfer issues, but you don't want contact. You want it to literally seal and then unseal.
Yep.
Then the angles come in. You make the angle too steep, and you'll essentially pull the valve through the head. You make the angle too flat, and you've got no gas flow, or you've got shit gas flow. So again, it's what you're trying to do. And then if you start looking here, can you see where you've got free clean areas, and then dirty through the center?
Yeah.
So this is a good indication of showing you how the air and what's happening in the cylinder. So that tells you things. So like again, now, if I was porting these heads, I'll put the valves back in and I would polish the combustion chamber and I'd shape the combustion chamber. Because it is quite a basic chamber, but it's really, can you see all the casting marks in it?
Yeah.
Take them out.
And that's just how it would come from the factory.
Yeah. So these are going to go to Kev at K&B because he does all my valve seat cutting. We got to pick some up off him anyway. So he'll dip these for me, which will clean all the combustion mess out. He will cut the seats for me. We'll check the guides first, cut the seats to what I want, and then he'll skim them. Literally skim them just enough to clean them.
Okay.
So we use Kev at K&B Engineering. He's got some V10s, some V10s of mine at the minute now. I've got to send some more for him, some GT3 stuff. But that's the next step with those. Then they'll come back. I'll profile all the springs on the valve spring machine, my big air, and that'll profile them all out. We'll obviously measure all the installed height and then make sure we're in the ballpark for that. And then we'll reassemble them.
So this is going to come back better than factory?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. And again, you can keep going and keep going and keep going with your porting, your polishing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at how sort of nasty, even not changing the shape, even just removing all the casting marks, how rough the casting is an improvement. Yeah. So you would say that's a polishing job. That's not a porting job. A porting job to me is I'm modifying the shape. I'm changing the shape. Yeah. Can you, if you look down, Dav, I don't know whether you can see. You see those casting marks? Mm-hmm. So even getting rid of that, sorry, that's me moving it around. But where you are there, look, that's a massive casting ridge. So we would take that out straight away. So these are all improvements. Now, the beauty of a turbocharged engine is forced induction hides a lot of sins.
Aha,
so you can get away with less on a turbo to make more power because you have a multiplier. Yeah. Whereas if it's naturally aspirated and you're hunting everything you can get, then that's obviously where you go looking for power.
So that'd be why people go to town on some of these, like Mark 1 Escorts and things, the Millingtons.
Yeah. Really... 4PP. So the guys who do like the K20 stuff, and you look at the cylinder heads they're producing, and they're works of art, and it's that. So yeah, and then when you boost it, you then get that efficiency. But people were more likely to bang a bigger turbo on and wind the boost up than they are to go hunting for improvements in the engine itself. So, right, that's the head. So I've got another one to do. It's rinse and repeat. There's no point in me really showing you anything there. But let's go and have a look at the bits and pieces that have turned up and show you what's what. We haven't seen Juden for a while. I've come over the old side to collect some stuff. So let's see where he is.
Here they are.
Juden!
Can't get away from me, can you?
No.
Anyone want to buy a Lotus?
What? There's a Lotus? Come on then, let's have a look.
It's for sale, Dav. Do you want to buy it?
Mate, I'd love to buy it. Let's have a look.
Company,
I can't keep walking past it anymore.
company car, Dav.
That'd do me.
When was the last time you used it?
MOT.
Because you didn't do any track
I
days.
actually can't remember. I've had it 2 years, done
Backwards mileage.
two track days. Was it 2? Maybe 1. Which was your one.
our
Oh no,
ones?
Chris's as well, didn't it?
23 though, that went 24.
No, it was
You
like
didn't come to
20
me
no,
last year
23.
because you were miserable. So what is it? A black Lotus.
Lotus Exige, supercharged. Just over 25,000 miles. Links on Auto Trader. Gonna put a link in for you, Dan.
It is cool.
I'll remember to.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's just same old story. You scratch the itch and actually come to realise that you ain't got time to use it.
I think me and you had this chat, didn't we, where it's like when I got my car, it's cool, and then you sit there and you go, I don't use it.
No, I know.
I don't use it.
And because I'm racing again in the sun, like from March to September, I'm away well, not every weekend, but most weekends. It's just, I've got to do work in the week first.
This has had more oil changes than drives.
Yeah.
I'm getting wrong.
And brake fluid changes, and yes.
So you've had it, when did you get it?
This time around 2 years ago.
23.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is cool. It is cool.
This is the one that Evo always rave about.
Rave about. Car of the year.
Best track car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's ready to go. I've done it.
How much you got?
Oil change.
How much you got it up for?
36.5 set for. Yeah. Had a couple of tire kickers, a couple of traders. But it's still here, so yeah, it's still for sale. Let me know if anyone's interested.
It is pretty, in black. It's had everything it's ever wanted.
Yeah, I've had wheel refurbs done. I've had the sagging roof lining done.
Yeah, you fixed the roof, haven't you? It's a really nice.
It's a common problem, the sagging roof, so I've had it stripped and texture coated.
It's a really nice fix, actually.
You took the pictures, Dav?
We done the diffuser as well, didn't we?
Yeah, diffuser's done.
So
It's standard as well, apart from the tyres. So it's not been messed around with. I didn't want one messed around with.
no. Yeah, what you want? Nankangs?
It's on
AR1s?
AR1s, yeah. Ah, here he is, the future company owner.
Callum's. This is going to be Callum's first car.
No.
No.
He's having a you have a CRF now, aren't you? You think you're fucking Rossi?
You want to buy one, don't you?
Hey, probably a Bambino is better.
Yeah.
No,
They are pretty. They just like.
You're not going to go down and collect your vegetables in it from Asda, let's put it that way. But
No.
it's, you know,
No. Cover it back over.
sorry.
Does it come with the Pro Detail cover?
Not this one, but I have got a Lotus cover for it. Funny that's a Lotus.
If anyone buys it, they can have what they want. A night with your wife.
Don't ask me what I'm getting next. Hopefully a healthy bank balance. That's what I want.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you like get all excited about getting a car, and then you get a car and you get all miserable about having a car.
Having to look after
like
the
that.
thing.
Why did I buy this?
This was, I think I mentioned the video before actually, this was, the Lotus garage was literally half a mile down the road, wasn't it? Dav, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
I used to drive past going, oh, I can never afford one of them. I obviously got it, and now I'm like, yeah, it can go now. But Rick's like me, like I'm more excited about bikes.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have 20 bikes out there than like, no, look.
It's why I sold. It was why I sold a Lambo. Everyone's like, yeah, but you've only just fixed it, and it's September. Why are you selling it? And I'm like, 'cause if I park it, so everyone knows I had it on finance, and like I park it up, and I say, don't drive it through 6 months over winter, and you're like, yeah, that's $9,000 in finance payments. Like honestly, why?
Think of it like that.
Mate,
that's insane.
Yeah. But if you do this.
Yeah, it's the reward out of it isn't
No, we don't
good
have
enough for the car to be sat there.
No, we don't have time to, and it is nice. You've done stuff in it, like because you're even going to come to Germany with us as well, weren't you? And the last minute you were like, I can't.
Yeah, because I was in Germany myself racing.
Yeah, that would have been a good ring taxi. That. So.
Right. So
Anyway, we have one thing to catch up on after. You've got to put a link in, haven't you?
I will do.
You got the picture stuff. Fit one in.
So you took some nice
You have to.
You
Yeah.
have, mate. Yeah, you have.
Good photos.
Good for something, eh?
So, Billy Big Bollocks.
Who's he?
What?
You.
What about it?
Did you crash yesterday?
I did crash, yeah.
Did you? A few times. Callum went mini pit biking, didn't he? Josh took him.
I did see some videos. Yeah.
So he took my levers, my Alpine Stars, and Josh took him pit biking with Harrison. And now what do you think you can do?
Ride a bike.
No. He comes back, he goes, in the van. Josh goes, in the van. He said, you probably beat me now. I'm like, right.
Well, you said that to Josh.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, Billy Big Bollocks.
I reckon you got a good chance.
No, I rode my pad this morning. I thought it went pop. It was so slow. I was like, oh, why am I going so slow for? I'm sitting at 30 mile an hour. It's at the max.
NG newcomers then.
No.
Why not?
Got a really nice super sport bike you can ride in that.
If you do it, I'll do it. But on Rick's bike.
You can see Cal's started to unpack this stuff and sign it off as it's come in. So this is all the bits for Chris's car. We're still waiting on some pieces. So we've obviously got water pump seals. They're the oil housing seals, front timing seal. Oh, that's front timing seal. Rocker cover seals. Front and rear main seals. Oil pump seal. Turbo gaskets. Exhaust manifold gaskets. We have all 4 variators. 4 camshafts. The 3 timing chain kits. Variator bolts. The rocker assemblies. So that's how they should look, Mush.
That's a bit better.
Yeah. Then we've got the valve train. A pair of thermostats. New oil filter housing, because we spoke about those as cracks. Liner seals. And the CP Carrillo stuff. So let's show you how good these look.
Expensive stuff.
Expensive. A big old piston.
Nice.
That's what I thought. So they'll be grand, mate. They'll be grand. Yeah, lovely jubbly. What else we got? We should have some piston rings. We should have some cram. Oh, we got cram locks or normal? Yeah, so these are called cram locks.
Yep.
So I think we've spoke about these before. Let me grab my scissors. So a cram lock has got that little angle on it, so I can use a tool to hook it in rather than try to gouge it into a piston with a screwdriver. So if you're ordering CP stuff, order it with cram locks, don't order it anything else.
Top tip of the day.
Top tip. Hide them out of the way a minute. And then we have rods. So again, these are 838 rods, so 3.8 litre rods. And we've gone for the upgraded Carrillo bolts as well.
Lovely jubbly.
So they should be a lovely jubbly.
Should keep him out of mischief.
Exactly, so we just need a few more bits to come in, carry on stripping, cleaning, sorting bits out. But yeah, we're getting there, mate. I've got a new oil pump for him, new water pump, new alternator. So the thing will be baller when it's done. Oh, and our head stud and main stud kit as well.
Yes.
Are here somewhere. I've got about 15 of each. If you need McLaren head studs, give me a shout. Right, mate. Any other business?
No. So next plan with this then is going to be.
I'll finish stripping out of the head. That can go. I've got to. I think the crankcases are done. They're still over the other side. Cleaned everything over the other side, and then we can literally put it on the engine stand and start assembling. Line the seals in, bits and pieces like that.
I think people are keen to start.
Yeah,
the build, aren't they?
some people message going, "Oh, you said you'd have it done by the end of January." Plan was, but I'm still waiting on bits. So do you know what I mean? Bearings haven't come in yet, so we'll be good. We'll get it sorted.
And there's lots of other stuff going on in the workshop.
Dean's is stripped. Me and Dean have got to make a plan on his. I've got a V10. I'm in the middle of finishing there at the minute now. I've got 3 more to do. So, yeah.
As we can see, it's filling up nicely.
We get there, mate.
Yep.
We get there.
Good stuff.
Thank you for being with us. Hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next one.
Indeed. Go on then.
What? You want a biggity boo?
Biggity boo.
Biggity boo.